everybody, a very warm welcome to thorough newspaper analysis for 15th of March. This entire video series, as you know, it's brought to you by LawSikho. So now let's quickly head to the agenda and have a look at what do we have for discussion today. So first of all, for the editorial segment, we have this article, again taken from Indian Express. The title of this article is What It Will Take to Have Simultaneous Elections in India, Unpacking the Kovind Committee Report. So this is with respect to a high-level committee report, which has been submitted very recently to the Indian President on the concept of one nation, one election. This is very important for your essay writing and interview purposes. Next up, we have the news updates, and this is going to be followed by the legal news update segment, where today we discuss one update from the Supreme Court with respect to anticipatory bail and certain provisions of the CrPC. So now let's quickly head to the article. The title of this article again is, and for the portion which has been hidden by my video, I would like to read that out. So it is what it will take to have simultaneous elections in India, Unpacking the Kovind Committee Report. Now see, before we dive into this article, I would like to give you a context to it first. देखिए हमारी कंट्री में we broadly see three type of elections, okay? जहाँ पर कि हम वोट कास्ट करते हैं. पहला इलेक्शन आपने देखा होगा लोकसभा का इलेक्शन, which is also due in this year 2024. सेकेंड इलेक्शन होता है जो स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबलीज के होते हैं, जहां से हम हमारी टेरिटोरियल कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी से एमएलएस का चुनाव करते हैं. तीसरे तरीका का जो इलेक्शन है वो इलेक्शन होगा, आपने देखा होगा काफी बार, जब आप जिला परिषद या फिर पंचायत के लिए इलेक्शंस करते हैं, आप जिला परिषद प्रमुख या फिर सरपंच उन सबको चुनने के लिए. तो ये जो पूरी रिपोर्ट है इस मैटर पर कॉन्स्टिट्यूट करी गई थी कि जो इस टाइम पर ये हमारे इलेक्शन जो होते हैं ना, ये बहुत डिफरेंट टाइम पर होते हैं. सो वी the Lok Sabha election is scheduled for 2024 now, and we recently saw elections in the state of Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and कुछ states के elections कई बार अलग-अलग time पे होते हैं. तो this committee was given the task of preparing a report on the feasibility of having the Lok Sabha election, also the state legislative assembly elections simultaneously at the very same time. So see, before we get into this report, here's a brief historical context. The information is not here on the screen. You may make notes of it. तो जो हमारे पहले चार लेजिस्लेटिव पहले जो जनरल इलेक्शंस हुए थे लोकसभा के, वो स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली के इलेक्शंस के साथ ही हुए थे. तो स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम 1952, फिर अगर हम 5 साल ऐड कर दें तो नियरली 1957, फिर 1962, 1967, ये जो चार इलेक्शंस हुए थे यहाँ पर साइमल्टेनियस इलेक्शंस थे. बट कुछ सिचुएशंस ऐसी आई जिसमें कि कुछ राज्य सरकारें या फिर जो हमारी सेंटर पे सरकार थी, वो 5 साल का जो टेन्योर है वो पूरा नहीं कर पाई और उससे पहले ही उनका डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन हो गया. सो एज अ रिजल्ट ये जो रिदम था इलेक्शन आफ्टर एवरी 5 ईयर, इट गॉट ब्रोकन एंड thereafter we no longer have this simultaneous polls. So now let's head to the committee report. First of all, high level committee headed by the former president of India, Ramnath Kovind. You may remember, just in case for PT purpose, in the GK current affairs portion. Secondly, the title or the theme was One Nation, One Election. So this committee has now given its report to the current president of India, Draupadi Murmu, and this happened on Thursday. अब ये जो कमिटी है इन्होंने ब्रॉडली ये रेकमेंड किया है कि जो हमारा लोकसभा का इलेक्शन है एंड जो लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबलीज के जो इलेक्शंस होते हैं, दैट इज टू से जो एमपीज लोकसभा एंड जो एमएलएज जो स्टेट असेंबलीज में होते हैं, उनके जो इलेक्शंस है वो साइमल्टेनियस हो, एट द सेम टाइम हो. एंड ऑल्सो जो लोकल बॉडीज के इलेक्शन है, बी इट द पंचायत इलेक्शन और द इलेक्शन टू द म्युनिसिपैलिटीज, दे शुड ऑल्सो बी सिंक्रोनाइज्ड एंड बी कंडक्टेड within 100 days of the conduct of the Lok Sabha and the state legislative assembly elections. So this is what this first para says, that a high-level committee on One Nation, One Election by report is being presented, headed by Ramnath Kovind, and it is recommended that elections to Lok Sabha and the state assemblies, they should be held at the same time, and subsequently elections to local bodies, that is to say the municipalities and the panchayats, they too should be synchronized so that they are held within 100 days of the simultaneous state and national election. Now see, because हमारी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन जो है वो पेरेंट फंडामेंटल लॉ है एंड उसी में जितनी भी जो हमारी पार्लियामेंट की क्रिएशन के बारे में बात करी गई है एंड देयरफॉर द हाउसेस ऑफ द पार्लियामेंट एंड कुछ आर्टिकल्स हैं इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के, आई बिलीव आर्टिकल 83 टू बी प्रिसाइज, जो कि बात करती है ड्यूरेशन ऑफ द हाउस। तो कि जैसे कि 5 साल का ड्यूरेशन होगा एंड यू नो द इलेक्शंस टू ऑल ऑफ दीज बॉडीज। तो इसलिए अगर हमें इस कमिटी की रिकमेंडेशंस को इफेक्ट में लाना है, so this is very natural that certain amendments are to be made to the Indian Constitution, right? So therefore, to give effect to its recommendations, the committee, it is suggested in total 15 amendments to the Constitution. Now this committee says कि amendments हम दोनों तरीके के करेंगे। एक तो we are going to introduce new articles to the Constitution, and secondly we are going to amend the existing articles. अब ये जो 15 amendments हैं, the committee has proposed that we put forth these amendments by virtue of 2 constitution amendment bills. एक set of amendments bill 1 में आएंगे। उस बिल का पर्पस होगा कि हम कैसे ट्रांजिशन करें to simultaneous elections. So therefore, all the amendments proposed in first amendment bill, they're going to deal with the process of simultaneous elections. The second bill, it is going to deal with the election of the local bodies and the preparation of a single electoral roll. Please just make a mental note of it कि ये जो दोनों amendment bills हैं ये broadly क्या करते हैं. Now see, very important. अब हम बात करते हैं आर्टिकल 368 की broadly. देखिए आर्टिकल 368 जो है वो बात करता है अमेंडमेंट टू इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन एंड उसमें ब्रॉडली आपने नोटिस किया होगा 3 तरह के मेथड्स बताए हैं कि डिफरेंट कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन प्रोविजंस कैन बी अमेंडेड बाय सो एंड सो मेथड. You must have seen simple majority, you must have seen special majority, जहाँ पे कि not less than 2/3 of the member present voting plus a majority of the total membership, वो होती है special majority. अब कुछ constitution के provisions ऐसे होते हैं जिनको हम कहते हैं entrenched provisions, which means the provisions which have federal character, जैसे कि election to president of India या फिर matters falling in the 7th schedule and जो list है 3 state यूनियन कंकरेंट, अगर आप उसमें अमेंडमेंट लाते हो तो फिर आपको स्पेशल मेजॉरिटी के साथ रैटिफिकेशन ऑफ हाफ ऑफ द स्टेट्स इज आल्सो नीडेड. नाउ प्लीज नोट, जितने भी अमेंडमेंट्स which are to be put forward by the first constitution amendment bill, as in out of these 2 bills, the one first, so those will not require the concurrence or ratification by the states. They can just be done otherwise. But the second bill, it will need the ratification of the states. Why? We'll see later. So the first bill, it will deal with the transition to simultaneous election and the procedure for election to Lok Sabha or the state assembly. Your term. So procedure वो prescribe करेंगे. Accordingly, the committee, it stated that this bill, it can be passed without the ratification of the state assemblies. While the second bill, it deals with municipality and panchayat elections, the election to the local bodies, as well as the criteria for creation of a single electoral roll by the Election Commission of India. So the Kovind Committee, it has acknowledged that this bill, it deals with subject which fall in the state list. So naturally, इसने जो 7th schedule है Indian Constitution का उसको touch कर दिया. So therefore, it is one of the entrenched provision having federal character. So therefore, naturally, ratification by the state government is a must. So that it is what saying, it would therefore require the approval or the ratification of more than half of the Indian states. Now see, next is this, what is this bill saying? The first bill, which is recommended by the committee, it would begin by inserting a new article, which is 82A. Now we talk about the specific articles which are to be inserted or which are to be amended or changed. So first insertion is going to be by way of adding article 82A. अब ये आर्टिकल के 5 क्लॉजेस हम डिस्कस करेंगे. फर्स्ट क्लॉज ये कहता है कि ऑन द डेट ऑफ द फर्स्ट सिटिंग ऑफ द लोकसभा आफ्टर जनरल इलेक्शन, the president will issue a notification bringing this article into effect. Followed? तो एक एग्जाम्पल लेते हैं. दिस इज जस्ट टू गिव एन एग्जाम्पल. अभी 2024 के जनरल इलेक्शंस होंगे इलेक्शन होते ही जो फर्स्ट सिटिंग होगी लोकसभा की, उसमें हमारे देश के जो प्रेसिडेंट है वो एक नोटिफिकेशन जारी करेंगे, जिसमें वो ये कहेंगे कि आर्टिकल 82 इट हैज कम इनटू इफेक्ट। अभी जो नोटिफिकेशन की डेट है, इसको हम कहेंगे इट शैल बी कॉल्ड द अपॉइंटेड डेट। अब इस अपॉइंटेड डेट का प्रैक्टिकली क्या यूज है वो क्लॉज 2 में बताया है। So see, clause 2 will state that all the legislative assemblies constituted in any general election which is held after the appointed date, they shall come to an end on the expiry of the full term of the Lok Sabha, which means कि let's say 2024 में general election हुए, लोकसभा अगर सब सही रहा तो is going to go for 5 years, then it is going to dissolve and next general assembly होगी, election होगा। अब सपोज ये जो लोकसभा जब फर्स्ट हियरिंग डेट सिटिंग होगी, उसके बाद आर्टिकल 82A जो है, दिस इज जस्ट टू गिव यू एन एग्जांपल, वो इफेक्ट में आ जाएगा। तो फिर क्या होगा कि जितने भी स्टेट्स के इलेक्शंस अभी ड्यू है 2024 के बाद, उनका जो टर्म है इट विल एक्सपायर एट द एक्सपायरी ऑफ द फुल टर्म ऑफ द लोकसभा। ये क्यों है? ताकि सिंक में आ जाए सारे, साइक्लिक मैनर में फायर टर्म का इलेक्शंस हो सके। थर्डली, इसका जो थर्ड क्लॉज है वो कहता है इट रिक्वायर्स द इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया टू होल्ड जनरल इलेक्शंस टू लोकसभा एंड द लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली साइमल्टेनियसली। सो दिस इज एन इंपॉर्टेंट क्लॉज, क्योंकि यही वो क्लॉज है जो इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया को पावर देता है टू कंडक्ट द साइमल्टेनियस इलेक्शन। If Election Commission of India believes that simultaneous election for some state cannot be conducted, तो then what can be the remedy? Because ऐसा बिल्कुल हो सकता है कि कुछ स्टेट्स में कुछ ऐसी पॉलिटिकल सिचुएशंस हो कि उनका इलेक्शन नहीं हो सकता साथ में, तो then what do we do? So इसके लिए इसका जो नेक्स्ट क्लॉज है which is clause 4, it gives an answer. Clause 4 क्या कहता है? It may make the Election Commission of India may make a recommendation to the President to declare by an order that the election to the Legislative Assembly it may be conducted later. तो बेसिकली स्टेट असेंबली का इलेक्शन आप डेफर कर दो थोड़े टाइम के लिए। अब देखो, अगर डेफर हो गया तो फिर से वो रिदम नहीं बैठ पाएगा साइमल्टेनियस इलेक्शन का। तो इसके रिस्पेक्ट में क्लॉज 5 ये कहता है कि द फुल टर्म ऑफ द लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली इट शैल एंड ऑन द सेम डेट, on the same date as the end of the full term of the Lok Sabha constituted in the General Assembly. जनरल इलेक्शन तो मतलब कि लोकसभा की एक्सपायरी टर्म के साथ ही हम चलेंगे टू मेंटेन दैट रिदम। नाउ नेक्स्ट इज वी ब्रिंग आर्टिकल 82A वाज एन इंसर्शन। अब एग्जिस्टिंग आर्टिकल में अमेंडमेंट जो प्रपोज है विच इज आर्टिकल 327। दिस आर्टिकल गिव्स पार्लियामेंट द पावर टू मेक लॉज विद रिस्पेक्ट टू ऑल ऑफ दीज एलिमेंट्स, विच इज व्हाट? इलेक्शन टू लोकसभा, to Rajya Sabha, state legislature, including preparing electoral rolls and delimitation of the constituencies. अब इसमें एक पावर और ऐड कर दिया which is the conduct of simultaneous elections. Followed? Now let's see. अब देखिए एक लेजिट क्वेश्चन ये आ सकता है कि सपोज 5 साल का जो टर्म है, व्हाट इफ उससे पहले डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन हो जाए लोकसभा या किसी स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली का, तब हम क्या करेंगे? तो इसके रिस्पेक्ट में जो 2 आर्टिकल्स इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के जो टेन्योर बताता है पार्लियामेंट के हाउसेस का एंड स्टेट लेजिस्लेचर्स का, उनमें अमेंडमेंट प्रपोज करी गई है। नाउ व्हाट आर दोस आर्टिकल्स? 83 फॉर पार्लियामेंट, आर्टिकल 172 फॉर द स्टेट लेजिस्लेचर्स। तो ये कमिटी ने क्या प्रपोज किया है कि सबसे पहले व्हाट वी डू इज वी अमेंड आर्टिकल 83। हाउ डू वी अमेंड इट? लेट्स सी। सो द कमिटी हैज रेकमेंडेड that this 5-year period it be referred as the full term. So instead of writing 5 year, we refer it as the full term by amending clause 2 of article 83. And similarly, we make amendment in 172 also. So if Lok Sabha or state assembly, it is dissolved before the expiry of the full term, before 5 years, then the remaining period, it will be called as the unexpired period. So 5 साल की टर्म को हमने ब्रेक कर दिया, पहले तो उसको बोल दो आप फुल टर्म। दूसरा, अगर 5 साल से पहले डिसोल्यूशन हो गया किसी भी हाउस का, तो हम बोलेंगे रिमेनिंग पीरियड को एज द अनएक्सपायर्ड टर्म। अब इसके रेपरकशन क्या हो वो देखते हैं। सो सी द recommended article 83 clause 4, this is an insertion, and 172 clause 4, they state that the Lok Sabha or the state assembly that replaces the previous ones, one will serve only for the remaining unexpired period Before being dissolved, again, one simultaneous elections are conducted as per schedule. इसका सिंपली कहने का मतलब ये है कि सपोज लोकसभा 4 साल के बाद डिसॉल्व होगी, 1 साल का रिमेनिंग पीरियड है, तो अब जो नई न्यू जो लोकसभा कॉन्स्टिट्यूट होगी, गवर्नमेंट कॉन्स्टिट्यूट होगी, वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ 1 साल के लिए ही सर्व करेगी. इट विल सर्व फॉर द अनएक्सपायर्ड टर्म ओनली. एंड देन जैसे ही 5 साल का टेन्योर खत्म हो जाएगा, तो देन एक जनरल इलेक्शन फिर से होगा, एंड अगेन वो भी साइमल्टेनियस इलेक्शन. सो देयरफॉर ये रिदम मेंटेन हो सके. अब कुछ एक्सपर्ट्स का ये कहना है कि इससे होगा क्या, जो ये प्रैक्टिस है ना कि कुछ एमएलएस डिफेक्ट कर जाते हैं, फिर नो कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन होता है, फ्लोर टेस्ट होता है, तो ये थोड़ा ना कर्व होगा. कर्व क्यों होगा? Why would a political party go to the extent and length of doing all of these political debacles just to remain in power for the remaining term? फिर तो इवेंचुअली जो नॉर्मल इलेक्शन है वो होगा ही. सो देयरफॉर ये दिस इज अ पॉइंट यू मे कंसिडर. This is a point that we've already discussed कि ये जो amendments हैं, they are also a part of the first constitution amendment bill, which means state का ratification is not needed here. Also देखिए, अब तक हमने क्या डील किया? स्टेट असेंबलीज से. अब हमें ये भी पता है कि कुछ यूनियन टेरिटरीज ऐसी है, एंड दिस इज माय क्वेश्चन टू यू, प्लीज राइट डाउन कौन सी ऐसी यूनियन टेरिटरीज है जिनमें खुद की लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली भी है. अब उन लेजिस्लेटिव जो यूनियन टेरिटरीज हैं, उनको भी तो हमें साथ में लाना है, तो उसके लिए कुछ उनके वहां के लॉज हैं, उनमें भी अमेंडमेंट रेकमेंड करी गई है. सो व्हाट आर दोज लॉज? फर्स्ट इज द Government of NCT, the National Capital Territory of Delhi of 1991, the Government of Union Territories Act of 1963, and the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act of 2019. इनमें भी कुछ अमेंडमेंट्स करे गए हैं ताकि इन यूटीज का जो इलेक्शंस है वो साइमल्टेनियस हो सके विद स्टेट एंड दी लोकसभा. इससे आपको एक हिंट भी मिल जाएगा कि कौन सी यूटीज है जिनकी लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबलीज होती है. अब हम बात करते हैं सेकेंड अमेंडमेंट बिल की, जिसमें कि डील करा गया है प्रिपरेशन ऑफ सिंगल इलेक्टोरल रोल एंड दूसरा द इलेक्शन टू द लोकल बॉडीज. सो द सेकेंड कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन अमेंडमेंट बिल, it would require the ratification by the state. The why of it, कि क्यों ratification जरूरी है, is given here. देखिए, आर्टिकल 368 का क्लॉज 2 जो है, उसमें कुछ एंट्रेंच प्रोविजंस हैं, उसमें से 7 शेड्यूल, स्टेट लिस्ट इज ऑल्सो अ पार्ट ऑफ इट. So any constitutional amendment that deals with the subject in the state list would require to be ratified by half of the state. अब state list में कौन सी entry है इन elections के respect में? So as the amendment suggested in the second bill relate to municipal and panchayat elections which fall under entry 5 of the state list titled as local government. So therefore ratification is a must. Now we talk about some important provisions. So the committee has suggested the inclusion of a new article, which is Article 324A. This article would empower the parliament to make laws to ensure that the municipality and the panchayat elections, they are held simultaneously with the general election at Lok Sabha and state level. The Kovind Committee, it has also recommended that new sub-clauses should be added in Article 325 also. Currently, this article says that there shall be one general electoral roll for every territorial constituency for election to either the House of Parliament or the House or either House of the Legislature of the state. This article, the proposed one, says this. So the new article 325(2) proposed by the committee will create a single electoral roll for every territorial constituency for election in the Lok Sabha, the legislature of a state, or a municipality or a panchayat. So we're going to have a single the electoral roll, and the responsibility is given to solely the Election Commission of India, and the various state election commissions, they're just going to have a consultative role now. They're no longer required to prepare an electoral roll. This electoral roll shall be made by the Election Commission in consultation with the state election commissions, and the electoral roll which is prepared shall substitute any electoral roll which is earlier made either by the Election Commission of India under Article 325 or the various state election commissions in both of these articles. So I hope this article is, this entire matter is very clear to you. This is very important for your essay. Please make notes accordingly. Now we proceed to the next segment. So now we proceed to the national news category for today. And here, this is the first update. Rural Ministry, it has joined hands with IIT-Delhi for using geospatial technology and artificial intelligence to monitor the assets under Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, also popularly called the MGNREGA. For this purpose, an MOU was signed between both of these entities. This MOU, it centers around the project which is Bhuprahari. This is again with the aim of leveraging both of these technologies, which is what? The geospatial technology and AI to monitor the assets under MGNREGA. This project will be executed by the HydroSense lab, which is led by Sahara. Moving up, this is a very important update. It is with respect to Sahitya Akademi Translation Awards. So Mrinmoy Pramanik, he has won Sahitya Akademi Prize 2023 for his work. His work is called the Dalit Nand Tattva. This is essentially a translation into Bengali of another literary work which was produced by Sharan Kumar Limbale, and it is called Dalit Sahitya Che Saundarya Shastra. So this was the original work by Sharan Kumar Limbale. It has been translated into Bengali by Mrinmoy Pramanik. So these are a couple of pointers that you may note for your exam. In the English category, the award was posthumously, that is to say, post his death. It was bestowed on Nabanita Dev Sen for a translation work which is called Chandrabati's Ramayana. Please note, Dev Sen had received Sahitya Akademi Award in 1999 for literature as well. Jammu and Kashmir National Front, it has been banned by government under the stringent UAPA. The government, it has recently banned the Jammu and Kashmir National Front, which is led by Naeem Ahmed Khan under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. In an order, the Ministry of Home Affairs, it declared the JKNF, which is a constituent of the hardline Hurriyat Conference, an unlawful association with immediate effect. The government said that this particular entity, it has been indulging in unlawful activities which are prejudicial to the integrity, sovereignty, and security of our country. The order, it is going to have effect for a term of 5 years. Moving on to an update in the defense segment. Instir, which is the lead ship of 1st Training Squadron 1st TS, it participated in exercise Cutlass Express 2024. Instir, it participated in exercise Cutlass Express 2024. This was held at Port Victoria, Seychelles from 26th of February to 8th of March 2024. This exercise, it was inaugurated by the President of Seychelles, and there were also attendance by dignitaries from our country, from that of USA and other African countries as well. Please note, Indian Navy has been participating in this particular exercise since 2019. This is a very important update. So I'm assuming all of us know that recently, in the past few days, we saw that the Supreme Court held electoral bonds and the entire scheme to be unconstitutional. And thereafter, there were a couple of proceedings that unfolded whereby the court wanted the data with respect to the purchase of all of these electoral bonds to be put forth. So this is an update in that respect. The Election Commission uploads electoral bonds data on website as per Supreme Court's direction. So let's see what has happened now. See, the Election Commission of India, it has uploaded on its website the data which was supplied by State Bank of India regarding electoral bonds. 2 sets of file, they can be seen on the web page. One set, it contains the purchase details, that is to say, the date of purchase of the electoral bond, the name of the purchaser, and the denomination of these electoral bonds. The second set, it contains the political parties' details, as in the date of encashment of the electoral bond, the name of the political party, and the denomination of the electoral bond, which is so encashed. Notably, no link between the purchaser and the party, it is discernible from the files. This is a background. So on 11th of March, the Supreme Court has refused the plea which was put forth by State Bank of India to extend the time till June 30 to furnish electoral bonds information and directed the bank to supply to the Election Commission of India the information on 12th of March itself. Thus, SBI chairman, he filed a compliance affidavit before the Supreme Court affirming that data it was given to the Election Commission of India in 2 PDF files, and the same it has been now uploaded by the Election Commission. This is an example of an electoral bond. So now we have an update with respect to important days. And the important day, it is pertaining to March 14th, International Day of Action for Rivers. The International Day of Action for Rivers, it is observed every year on 14th of March. This year's theme, it is Water for All. The International Day of Action against dams and for rivers, water and life, it was observed for the very first time at the first international meeting of people impacted by dams in March of 1997, and this happened in Brazil. On 14th of March, river experts from 20 different nations, they announced the adaptation of Day of Action for Rivers. The aim of the participants, it was to form a coalition against the degradation of ecologically sensitive water bodies, rivers and watersheds. Next up, we go to the international segment, and here's an update coming from Nepal. Nepal Prime Minister, he wins vote of confidence in Parliament for the 3rd time. Nepal Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachand, on Wednesday, he secured a vote of confidence in the Parliament. The voting, so this is the background as to why the voting happened. If you remember, a couple of days ago, also we discussed the political situation in Nepal. So essentially, there was a coalition government between 2 political parties. One is the party led by the current Prime Minister, and the another one was the Nepali Congress. But because of political differences, this coalition broke, and as a result, the Prime Minister-led political party, it has formed a new union, a new alliance with Communist Party of Nepal. Please note, this party, it is led by former Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli. And now, the erstwhile president has now also, again gotten the vote of confidence and is remaining the Prime Minister of the country of Nepal. According to constitutional provisions, a Prime Minister has to take a vote of confidence after an ally withdraws support to the ruling coalition. This is a similar position that we also see in our country. This has brought us to the legal update segment for today, where we have an update from the Honorable Apex Court. So the name of this particular matter is Shrikant Upadhyay versus State of Bihar. The Supreme Court, it says, or it has held, no anticipatory bail to accused against whom non-bailable warrant and proclamation under Section 82 CrPC, they are pending. So essentially, this is the background of the case. Let's first see this, and then let's go to the Supreme Court's ruling. So see, what essentially happened was that before the trial court, the dispute is that the accused person did not appear before the trial court. So there's non-appearance of the accused before the trial court, despite issuance of all sort of processes. So what are the modes of process that CrPC provides for? It is the issuance of summons, it is the issuance of warrants. Then if those are, the warrants, maybe we have, bailable warrants, then non-bailable warrants, and then eventually there's proclamation and all of these, attachment of property. All of these are some of the processes to compel the appearance of the accused, right? So here, despite the issuance of summons, bailable warrants, non-bailable warrants, and then proclamation under section 80 to 83 CrPC, the accused did not mark his presence before the trial court. And then when the matter was before the High Court denied pre-arrest bail, that is to say anticipatory bail to the accused on this ground, which is that non-bailable warrant and proclamation was issued against the accused by the trial court for defying lawful orders of the trial court and attempting to delay the proceedings. So on this ground, the High Court rejected his plea for anticipatory bail. Then the matter reached the Honorable Apex Court, and here also the Supreme Court said that in cases where an accused against whom non-bailable warrant is pending and the process of proclamation under 80 to 83 CrPC is issued is not entitled to the relief of anticipatory bail. So that's all we have for today's TNA. Thank you for being with us. And in case you want to get access to the free study material and the TNA slides that have been used in this video, I would highly encourage all of you to please join our Telegram channel. And for the same, you may click on the link which is given in the description, or you may scan the barcode here. These are the point of contacts in case you want to get in touch with LawSikho. Thank you for being with us.